Have you ever felt a deep, nagging feeling that it would have been better if you'd never been born? If you have, you're not alone, and this feeling has a name in psychology and philosophy: antinatalism. It's a complex and often misunderstood perspective, so let's unpack the psychology behind it without judgment, just curiosity and understanding. This isn't about promoting a negative view of life. Instead, it's about exploring a very real human experience that many people face in silence. Understanding the why can be the first step toward finding a different path forward. So what drives someone to wish for non-existence? It's not as simple as just being sad. One major root is the concept of consent. We're brought into the world without any say in the matter. For most people, this is a non-issue. Life is a gift, and they're happy to have it. But for others, this lack of consent feels like a fundamental violation. They look at the struggles, the pain, and the obligations of life and think, I didn't sign up for this. It's like being drafted into a game with incredibly high stakes, a game you never agreed to play. This feeling can be especially strong for individuals who face chronic illness, systemic oppression, or immense personal hardship. From a young age, they feel trapped in a narrative they didn't write and cannot escape. Then there's the asymmetry of pain and pleasure, a concept discussed by philosophers like David Benneter. Think about it this way: the absence of pain is good, even if no one is there to experience it. For example, a world without suffering is a good thing, but the absence of pleasure is not bad unless there is someone who is being deprived of that pleasure. When you apply this to birth, the logic goes: if a person is never born, they don't suffer. That's good. They also don't experience pleasure, but since they don't exist, they aren't being deprived of anything. So that's not bad. However, if a person is born, they will inevitably experience both pain and pleasure. The guarantee of pain, according to this view, makes coming into existence a net negative. This isn't just about big traumas. It includes the daily anxieties, disappointments, and physical discomforts that are part of the human condition. This leads us to another psychological pillar: heightened empathy and sensitivity. Many people who grapple with these feelings are incredibly empathetic. They don't just feel their own pain. They feel the pain of the world. They see the suffering of others, the cruelty in nature, the injustices of society, and it weighs on them heavily. They might look at a newborn baby and, instead of just seeing innocence and potential, they also see the inevitable future of heartbreak, loss, and pain that awaits. This isn't cynicism for the sake of it. It's a form of profound compassion that becomes overwhelming. They think, how can I justify bringing a child into a world where I know for a fact they will suffer? This ethical burden is a heavy one to carry. Another key factor is a deep-seated feeling of alienation or not belonging. This is different from temporary loneliness. It's a persistent, fundamental sense of being an outsider to the human experience. These individuals might look at others who seem to navigate life with ease, building careers, forming families, finding joy, and feel like they're a different species. They might try to fit in, to follow the script, but it always feels inauthentic, like they're playing a role. This sense of cosmic otherness can lead to the conclusion that their very existence was a mistake, a bug in the system. They feel like they weren't built for this world, and so it would have been better to not be in it at all. Psychological conditions can also play a significant role. It's crucial to state that holding these views doesn't automatically mean someone has a mental illness. However, conditions like major depressive disorder, persistent depressive disorder, or certain anxiety disorders can color one's entire perception of life. When your brain's chemistry is skewed towards a negative bias, it's much easier to see life as a series of burdens rather than opportunities. The anhedonia associated with depression, the inability to feel pleasure, can make the asymmetry of pain and pleasure feel intensely real. If you can't experience joy, then life truly does seem like an experience composed solely of suffering and obligation. For these individuals, the wish to have never been born can be a symptom of an underlying condition that needs treatment and support. But here's a crucial hook. What if this feeling isn't about wanting to die? This is a common misconception. The wish to have never been born is different from suicidal ideation. Suicidal thoughts are often about ending current, unbearable pain. It's a desire to escape a situation. The wish for non-existence is more philosophical. It's a retroactive judgment on life itself. Someone can feel this way while still having a strong survival instinct and no intention of ending their life. They might find pockets of joy, have people they love, and still maintain the core belief that all things considered, 0 is better than a mix of positive and negative. Understanding this distinction is vital for having a compassionate conversation. So how do people cope with these feelings? For some, it remains a private philosophical stance. They find meaning in minimizing harm, adopting lifestyles that reduce suffering for themselves and others, like veganism or environmentalism. They might choose not to have children, seeing it as the most direct way to act on their convictions. For others, especially when these feelings are tied to depression or trauma, the path forward involves seeking help. Therapy, particularly existential therapy, can be incredibly valuable. It doesn't try to argue you out of your feelings. Instead, it helps you explore them and asks a powerful question. Given that you are here, how can you create meaning? It's about accepting the absurdity and the challenges of life, and then actively choosing to build a life that feels authentic and worthwhile to you, even if you didn't consent to its beginning. It's a shift from "I shouldn't be here" to "I am here, so what now?" Finding communities of like-minded people can also be a source of immense relief. Realizing you're not the only one who feels this way can combat that deep sense of alienation. Online forums and groups dedicated to these philosophical discussions provide a space where people can be honest without fear of being judged or misunderstood. It's also important to practice self-compassion. If you feel this way, it doesn't make you broken or ungrateful. It often means you are a deeply thinking, sensitive, and empathetic person who is grappling with life's biggest and hardest questions. It's a testament to your consciousness, not a flaw in your character. Ultimately, the psychology of wishing you were never born is a complex tapestry woven from threads of philosophy, empathy, personal experience, and sometimes mental health challenges. It challenges our most basic assumption that life is an unquestionable gift. By exploring it with an open mind, we not only gain a deeper understanding of a specific group of people but also a richer perspective on the nature of suffering, consent, and the incredible challenge of creating meaning in a world we didn't choose. It's a conversation worth having because at its heart, it's a conversation about what it truly means to be human. If you or someone you know is struggling with these thoughts, especially if they are accompanied by a desire to end your life, please reach out for help. Your life, now that it's here, has value. Thanks for watching, and if this conversation resonated with you, consider subscribing for more videos.